am calling this meeting to order at 2 o'clock. Can I get land acknowledgement, please?
Associated Students Incorporated at Sacramento State would like to take a moment to give honor and respect to the ancestors and to the diverse indigenous people connected to this territory on which we meet. The original stewards of this land belong to the Anishinaabe, Powhatan, and Miwok Native Americans. Keep them in your mind, carry them in your hearts, and we ask that you take a moment to consider your ancestors and your relationship to the land we are on. Thank you.
Thank you. Sama, could we get the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a moment of silence?
No.
Thank you. Lisa, could we get roll call, please?
Thank you. Pacheco,
Present.
De La Garza Garcia,
Here.
Budani,
Here.
Estrella,
Present.
Andrade Dominguez,
Present.
Ayukawan,
Present.
Nick Dow,
Here.
Mayha Diaz,
Here.
Enchel,
Here.
Campbell,
Here.
Beltran,
Here.
Golis,
Here.
Urbia,
Here.
Carroll,
Here.
Curry,
Here.
Gallardo,
Here.
Montalvo,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Guerrero,
Here.
Gill,
Here.
Reyes,
Here.
Denning,
Here.
Dalton, Rocha.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to the approval of minutes for 12/7/2022 board meeting, the special board meeting of 01/19/2023 and 02/1/2023 working board meeting. If there are no objections, the minutes will be approved. Okay, seeing none, the minutes have been approved. All right, now we have public comment. Members of the audience may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board or any agenda item. If you wish to address the board, please sign the speaker identification sheet. When you are called upon to speak, step forward to the podium and state your name and major clearly for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and the overall time is 15 minutes. Those wishing to speak on a non-agenda item will be called upon at the beginning of the meeting. Those wishing to speak for or against an agenda item will be called upon after the item has been officially introduced to the board. Every agenda item will be open for public comment before the board takes formal action on the item. At this time, if there's any public comment, I ask that you step forward to the podium and identify yourself on the sheet. All right, seeing none, we're going to move forward. Lisa?
Just for the record, we did receive one piece of written public comment that was received before 5 p.m. on Monday, and it was distributed by the board of directors by our administrative assistant, so you'll want to check your email for that item.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to consent calendar. Okay, consent calendar. I'm going to need my 2 consent. Consent calendar. Okay, for consent calendar, we have 2022-23-0283, De La Garza Garcia, Estrella Pacheco, internal committee appointments. And 2022-23-0284, Andrade Dominguez, Estrella Pacheco, faculty senate committee appointments. Are there any others? Okay, seeing none, the consent calendar has been adopted. If there are no objections, we will adopt the consent calendar. Okay, consent calendar has been adopted. Now we're going to move to new business. We have our first item, 2022-230280, Udani Estate of Pacheco Financial Committee appointments. Can I get a motion? Javisha?
I move to approve 2022-230280 Budani Esther Pacheco Financial Committee appointment.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? Javisha?
So currently, I already have 4 members that are serving at large. However, I am appointing 8 more members to Finance and Budget Committee and 2 members to ASI Scholarship Committee. As of right now, we are at capacity for both of the committees, so I will not be doing any more appointments. This is the last one, unless people just drop, and then I'll look for other ones. But as of right now, we are not looking for any more people. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns on the item? All right, seeing none, we're going to move to a vote. All in favor of 2022-230280, Udani Estate of Pacheco Financial Committee appointments, please raise your hand. Okay, you may lower your hand. Excuse me, all those opposed, raise your hand. All right, seeing none, the item has been adopted unanimously. All right, now we're going to move to 2022-230281, Stuart Pacheco University Committee appointments. Can I get a motion? Alexa?
I move to approve 2022-23-281 Esther Pacheco University Committee appointments.
Second.
Thank you. The item has been seconded. Is there any discussions? Alexa?
I will be appointing students to several university committees. I will be removing a student from the State Board and Publications Board Committee. So if you all know any students that would be interested in joining this committee, please encourage them to do so. And I also will be removing a student from the Union Will Finance and Budget Committee, but I will be appointing another student. I am also looking for 2 students for the Well Advisory Group and the IT Advisory Committee as soon as possible. So if you know of any students, please let me know so that I can appoint them. And I know that there's other committees that also need students, but mainly grad students. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions or any additional talk on the item? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to a vote. All in favor of 2022-230281, State of Pacheco University Committee appointments, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. You may lower your hand. All opposed? All right, the item has been adopted unanimously. Now we have 2022-230282, State of Pacheco, recommendation to the President for University Committee appointments. Is there a motion? Alexa?
I would like to move 2022-23-282 Esther Pacheco recommendations to the President for University Committee appointments.
Second.
We're not appointing any students, so you're withdrawing the item.
Are you withdrawing or are you keeping or are you withdrawing?
Are you actually appointing someone to it right now?
There's no students, so you would want to withdraw it.
Okay, do it again, sorry.
Just say I withdraw.
I would like to withdraw the recommendations to the University Committee.
Okay, can she discuss them yet? Okay, because they're withdrawing.
When you, during your report, mention whatever it is that you wanted to say.
Okay.
If
So-
it's okay.
Okay, if there are no objections, we will withdraw the item. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to move to 2022-230285, Udani Udani Estrella de la Garcia Padilla. Allocation of strategic priority funding for 1.0, support personal and professional development. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Oh, hold on, get a little ahead of myself. I'm glad you're prepared, thank you. Teresa?
I move to approve 2022-23-0285 Udani Estrella de la Garcia Padilla allocation of strategic priority funding 1.0, support personal and professional development.
Second.
Where were you?
Someone else.
All right. Is there any discussions on the item? Teresa?
So as mentioned during the last working board meeting, we are looking to sponsor 40 calculators at the How to Win at Life event that's going to happen on April 25, 2023 by Financial Wellness. For people who don't know what is How to Win at Life, this event will help students to get an idea of what real life expenses will be like after they graduate. During the game, students will get a chance to role play and imagine themselves after graduation, living on their own and receive no financial help from their family or friends. What decisions they will make, we'll get to see their students will visit each table at the end of the activity. They will see if they actually won at life or not. As mentioned, I was the only board member who attended How to Win at Life last semester, and when I was attending, I noticed that the volunteers didn't have calculators and they were using their own personal phones to do the calculations, which in turn, I didn't learn anything how to do the calculation, how they were looking at the taxes or anything. At the end, I only knew that I had a profit of $700, which is amazing, but I need to learn how to do the calculations, and sponsoring these calculators would really help the volunteers, help students understand how the game actually works. So we are recommending to allocate up to $260 to sponsor calculators. There's total 8 stations, and we are hoping to have 4 to 5 calculators at each station. So that's it. Thank you.
Are there any questions or discussions on the item? All right, seeing none, we're going to move to a vote. All in favor of 2022-23-0285, Udani Estrella de la Garcia Padilla, allocation of strategic priority funding for 1.0, support personal and professional development. Please raise your hand. All right, you may lower your hand. All opposed? All right, the item has been adopted unanimously. Now we have 2022-23-0286, Udani Mejia Diaz, resolution in support of the contracts for the ASI Children's Center at Sacramento State. Is there a motion? Teresa?
I move to approve 2022-23-0286 Udani Mejia Diaz, resolution in support of the contracts for the ASI Children's Center at Sacramento State.
Second.
Thank you. Has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Teresa?
I will slow down now. So the ASI Children's Center is requesting the ASI Board's approval to continue the contracts and fundings that are listed below. Upon approval of this legislation today, the attached document, which is all the way at the bottom, shall be executed by the ASI Board Secretary, which is Adderall. Last time I saw that we were struggling with the abbreviation, so now I have just included them in the document. So RFA, which is the request for applicants, we request for additional funds from the California Department of Social Services, which is CDSS, for our CCTR, which is General Child Care and Development Contract. Another one is CDSS, California Department of Social Services, continued funding application for 2023-24 CCTR contract. And then the last one is CDE, which is California Department of Education, continued funding application for 2023-24 CSBP, which is California State Preschool Program Contract. What we are recommending is that the ASI Board of Directors approve the continuation of these fundings and contracts that I just talked about. And once we approve the legislation, the document in the bottom, I believe you could scroll all the way down, has to be signed by Adderall, so we continue receiving the fundings and be in contract with the department. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussions on the item? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to a vote. All in favor of 2022-230286, Udani Mejia Diaz, resolution in support of the contracts for ASI Children's Center at Sacramento State, please raise your hand. Okay, you may lower your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. All right, the item has been adopted unanimously. Okay, now we're moving to the next item, 2022-230287. Udani, 2023 ASI Human Resources Policy Manual Updates. Is there a motion? Bishop?
I move to approve 2022-230287, Udani 2023 ASI Human Resource Policy Manual Updates.
Second.
Thank you. Has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? Bishop?
So the ASI Human Resource Policy Manual serves as the guidance policies of employment for all ASI, which is Associated Students, Inc., employees, and should comply with all federal and state employment laws and guidelines. It is periodically reviewed and updated to ensure compliance and application of best employment practices. Today, we are recommending to change the policies that are listed above. However, I have a little to no understanding of HR, so if the chair allows, I would like to call Myra to explain the policies that we are changing in order to understand them better.
Thank you. I will allow it. Myra, if you could come up and then just sign the speaker identification sheet and let us know who you are. Through the mic. That sounds silly, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm supposed to say.
Considering I didn't do it last time, you needed to do that.
It's okay. I don't think the mic is on. Thank you, Mark.
My name is Myra Nicklin, and I am the Director of Human Resources for ASI. I'm going to go over the recommended changes to the listed policies. The first policy, policy number 8, classification and compensation. The ASI develops job classifications and compensation ranges separate from the campus, so this would be an update to that policy to reflect that our compensation ranges are comparable to the employment market. The next policy change, policy number 20, California paid sick leave. This policy was changed to reflect California state law that was updated January 1st, 2023. And employees are able to utilize paid sick leave to care for a designated person. And the designated person is defined as anyone designated by the person at the time of leave. Okay, the next policy update, policy 24, Family and Medical Leave Act, California Family Rights Act. This policy was changed to reflect a change to California state law effective January 1, 2023, and that employees are able to utilize California Family Rights Act leave to care for a designated person. For the purpose of this law, a designated person is defined as an individual related by blood or whose association with the employee is the equivalent of a family relationship. Policy number 25, jury duty and witness leave. This policy was updated to reflect current business practices. ASI does not require employees to pay the amount that they received from serving jury duty. We do not deduct that amount from their wages, so we would like to update the policy to reflect that they can keep that money and they make their regular wages for serving jury duty. The next policy update is bereavement leave, policy number 53. This policy was changed to reflect a change in California state law effective January 1, 2023. Employers of 5 or more individuals are required to provide up to 5 days of bereavement leave in the event of a death of a family member or further removed family. Currently, ASI's policy only reflects bereavement leave for full-time employees. So this policy is updated to address bereavement leave for part-time, student, and seasonal employees as well. So this would provide protected leave. There is no financial impact for offering this leave. The next policy update is policy number 111, drugs and alcohol use in the workplace. This policy was updated to reflect current business practices at ASI. Employees who drive and transport individuals on ASI businesses are not randomly drug tested. So this policy is updated to remove that language from the handbook. The next policy change is policy number 112, drug-free workplace. This policy was updated to reflect a change that will go into effect on January 1, 2024. Employers are not able to take adverse job action against an employee who tests positive for off-duty marijuana use or who tests positive for non-psychoactive cannabis metabolites. So we will be changing our practices in 2023 so that we are compliant by January 1, 2024. And the next policy change is policy number 114, emergency conditions. This is a new policy to address California state law that went into effect January 1, 2023, and that employers are not able to take adverse job action against an employee who does not report to work due to a reasonable belief that the workplace is unsafe or who leaves work to address an emergency caused by natural forces or a criminal act. And the next and last policy update, policy number 120, separation from employment. This policy was updated to reflect a business practice that is required by the Chancellor's Office, which ASI was informed of as a result of an audit in 2019. When an employee terminates employment from ASI is required to complete a termination checklist. This policy previously exempted one department from the checklist, so this change would bring us into compliance with the requirements of the Chancellor's Office. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussions? Any questions? Chris?
Hi.
I don't think it's true.
Good on? Yeah, you can turn it on.
Is it on?
Yes. Yes.
Hi. So I was curious about the marijuana policy. And my thought process was, I thought there was still a federal mandate that we had to comply with. So I was curious how that works, and if there's still a federal mandate, and if, because we're an organization on a university, we have to be in compliance with that.
So the marijuana is still illegal federally, but what the state law is saying is that it's not saying you can come to work high, but you cannot be disciplined for recreational marijuana use. So we have to change the way that we drug test. So if somebody is a recreational user, they use for medicinal purposes, we have a way of testing of whether they're actually under the influence at that time or they have just used it in the past. And currently our practices doesn't differentiate from that. So the law is saying you have to differentiate from that. So if somebody has been a recreational user or they've used it medicinally, you will know at the time, are they actively high or have they just used marijuana? And if they've just used marijuana, you can't take adverse action against them.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there any other questions or discussions on the item? Carmen?
Hello. Oh, it's on my turn.
I do have a
That does not sound nice. Okay, I'm just gonna shout. Can you hear me?
No, don't shout anymore.
No, I can't shout.
I turned it off. You can go ahead. I think it's because we're.
Okay. We're gonna try this My question is about the designated person. So there's the Family Act, so then the designated person does not need to be a relative.
For the California Family Rights Act, yes, they do have to be a family member related by blood or somebody who acts as a family member. So if it's somebody who is a guardian or something like that, a registered domestic partner, then they would qualify as a family. But for sick leave purposes, you could designate your neighbor, right? For California Family Rights Act, you cannot designate your neighbor.
Awesome. So they have the option of doing family and those that are not in their family or blood related.
Not for California Family Rights Act leave. For sick leave, they have the option to do people who they're not related to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. If there's no other questions, we can move to a vote. Okay, all in favor of 2022-23 0287, Udani 2023 ASI Human Resources Policy Manual Updates, please raise your hand. Okay, you may lower your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, the motion has been adopted unanimously. Now, I am going to pass this over to my vice chair because this next item is my item. If there are no objections, I would like to hand the mic to my vice chair. Okay, seeing none. All right, so 2022-23-0288, De La Garza Garcia Pacheco, resolution in support of the Division of Inclusive Excellence Community Call to Action. Do I have, is there a motion? Laura.
I move to approve.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes? I can hear myself. I move to approve 2022-23-0288, resolution in solidarity with the Division of Inclusive Excellence Community Call to Action.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Laura? Yeah, so like Salma and I presented to you all this last week during our working board, but I will read it again and we will just speak very briefly about it. So this resolution reads, whereas Associated Students Incorporated at California State University, ASCSUS, is not working, right?
No, you're doing good.
Okay.
It's working.
Okay. ASCSUS is the sole representative and voice of more than 31,500 students at Sacramento State. And whereas it is the duty and focus of ASCSUS to represent and support our students, and whereas the Sacramento State is home to a combined 2,835 African American and Black students who have been impacted by the recent events of police brutality, and whereas the systemic pattern and history of unarmed Black men, women, and members of the LGBTQ+/trans community disproportionately experiencing beatings, harms, excessive force, asphyxiation, shootings, and death at the hands of those who are sworn to protect and serve them. And whereas the number of Black Americans killed by police in 2022 is at 4.25 per million in 37 states and in the District of Columbia. And whereas Tyree Nichols was a member of the Sacramento community and needlessly lost his life as a result of police brutality. And whereas the visionary University Police Chief Chet Madison Jr., who leads the Community Safety Advisory Board, condemned in a social media post the actions and inaction of the Memphis Police Department officers the night Tyree Nichols was beat. And whereas the Memphis Police Department officers broke the public's faith and trust that was given to them when they swore their oath and pinned a badge on their uniform. And whereas Sacramento State's mission is to become an anti-racist, inclusive, and healing campus community. And therefore, let it be resolved that the campus of Sacramento State shows solidarity and unified support for our Black students, staff, and faculty. And be it resolved that the ASCSUS mourns the countless lives lost to police brutality and stands in solidarity with the Division of Inclusive Excellence Community Call to Action. And finally, let it be resolved that this resolution is distributed to Sacramento State President Robert S. Nelson, Interim Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs Carlos Alvarez, Vice President for Student Affairs and Chief Enrollment Officer Ed Mills, Vice President for Inclusive Excellence and University Diversity Officer Mia Settles Tidwell, Associate Vice President, Student Retention and Academic Success and Director of Sacramento State MLK Center, Marceline Watson-Durganby, Director of Equity and Affinity Centers, Eric Ramirez, Sacramento State Police Chief Chet Madison Jr., Ethnic Studies Department Chair Dr. Annette Reed, Criminal Justice Department Chair Ernest Owazi, Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper, Sacramento Chief of Police Kathy Lester, and Sacramento State City Manager Howard Chan. At this time, I also would like to read something that was included in the community action call. I think that just to put into perspective that this is an ongoing problem, and me myself, personally, I have friends who are part of this community, and just to think that they could be victims of this, it's very uneasy for me. So some of the names that we're paying respects are Henry Dumas, 1968, New York City; James Earl Green, 1970, Jackson State University in Florida; Rita Lloyd, 1973, New York City; Barry Green Evans from LA, 1976; Eula May Love, 1979, from LA; Eleanor Bumpers, 1984, from New York City; Yvonne Smallwood, 1987, from New York City; Rodney King, 1991, from LA; Amadou Diallo, 1999, from New York City; Malcolm Ferguson, 2000, from New York City; Oscar Grant III, 2009, Oakland, California; Michael Brown Jr., Ferguson, Missouri; Eric Gardner, 2014, New York City; Tanisha Anderson, 2014, from Cleveland, Ohio; Stephon Clark, 2018, from Sacramento; Ronald Green, 2019, from Monroe, Louisiana; Tatiana Jefferson, from Fort Wayne, Texas, 2019; Breonna Taylor, 2020, from Louisville, Kentucky; George Floyd, 2020, from Minneapolis, Minnesota; Dante Wright, 2021, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota; and Tyree Nichols, 2023, Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you.
All right, is there any other discussion or questions? Gina.
I'd like to amend the people who are listed to receive it to include the Vice President for Administration and CFO, Jonathan Bowman, as he is the Vice President over the Police Department on campus.
Laura?
Okay, and I'm a little new to how we're supposed to list the names. Where would I put that?
He generally falls after the provost, or maybe after Ed Mills. It varies.
Okay, so,
So you would need to ask for an amendment, but Selma?
She basically did. If there are no objections,
I can add it.
Okay. So if there are no objections, the name will be added. Okay, so the name is going to be added. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Selma?
As I said last week, this is very, very important to my family. These are my uncles and my cousins, and this needs to stop. And if we can contribute to raising awareness and a call to action to our community, I think that we should. So I call upon all of you today to do your part in this process to end this madness, because I'm I'm tired of having this increasing anxiety flood my family and my community as well as my friends. And so I think we should all vote on behalf of this resolution and show our support today.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 2022-23-0288 De La Garza Garcia Pacheco resolution in support of the Division of Inclusive Excellence Community Call to Action, please raise your hands. Okay, thank you. You can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. Okay, the item has been passed, adopted.
So that's up to you. You can say, there's a couple ways it can go when you've been given the gavel. You can just sit here and someone would need to make a motion to return the chair. Or you can say, if there are no objections, I will return the gavel to the chair. If somebody objects, we vote on it. Or you could just stand up and trade places again. And either way you want to handle it.
If there are no objections, I will stay until my board report, because I do have a board report, or I can just give it from here.
You can give your own board report from the
Okay.
chair as well.
All right, then I will stay if there are no objections.
No objections.
All right, moving to the next one. We have 2022-23-0289, Estrella Budoni Pacheco, allocation of strategic priority funding for 2.1.1, engage in wellness activities / sponsorships / partnerships. Is there a motion? Lexa.
I would like to move to approve. I would like to move to approve 2022-23-289 Estrella Budani Pacheco allocation of strategic priority funding for 2.11 engage in wellness activities. Engage in.
No, are you? Okay. Keep going.
So engage in wellness activities, sponsorships, and
Can we have that one? Oh,
the batteries.
battery.
Okay, so I would like to move to approve
Oh, no, you're
2022.
not allowed.
Hello?
There we go. A little closer.
I would like to move to approve 2022-23-289 Estrella Budani Pacheco allocation of strategic priority funding for 2.11 engage in wellness activities, sponsorships, and partnerships.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions?
So as mentioned in last working board meeting, the committee, Wellness, Safety, Sexual Assault Awareness Committee will be hosting an event next week on Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we basically would like the board to sponsor up to 50 smoothies for up to 150. And during this event, we'll be raising awareness towards the sexual assault that has been happening. So we'll be having Professor Nunez from Ethnic Studies present on the history and how students should know about, like, how to handle those situations, as well as just inform them on the history about it and that it happens all around the world and we just need to really stay informed and help one another. And then we'll also be having Erica Brown from the area director for AFSP, and talking about the resources that they have so that our students know more about the resources also in Sacramento.
All right, is there any other discussions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 2022-23-89, Estrella, Budoni, Pacheco, allocation of strategic priority funding for 2.1.1, engage in wellness activities / sponsorship / partnerships, please raise your hand. All right, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, the item has been adopted unanimously. So then now we're going to move over to the ASI College Director reports. So we're going to have 4 minutes for each director to present the report, and then 2 minutes for any questions. And then we're going to start with the Director of Arts and Letters, which is Adderall. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, hello everybody. Happy Wednesday. I was going to say Thursday for some reason, but it's a Wednesday. So I'm just going to get into it. My office hours for the spring semester are Mondays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then Tuesdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. But if those hours don't work, I'm in the office almost every single day. So just hit me up and we can work some things out. That's my email and that's my Instagram. I'm more into my Instagram than I'm in my email. I'm going to be straight up honest. If you want to reach out to me, feel free to just do it on Instagram. Don't be shy. I want to highlight one thing in my special note. I'm not going to read it, but just to highlight that, as we all know, last semester the Board of Directors passed a resolution in support of what was happening in Iran. There was a song that was made that kind of led the revolution, and with over 100,000 submissions to the Grammys, Chevron Hajipur won the Social Justice Grammy Awards for 2023, and I think that's a huge change because those submissions were all made from Iranian people, either just all over the world, and I just think that's very amazing to see that happen. So it was very special to see him win. It was a poem that he turned into a song. So just wanted to give a shout out to the Iran community. My internal committees, this semester I'm chairing Student Marketing and Outreach Committee. We've only had one meeting so far, which was on January 30th, where we kind of just did the introductions and we discussed our goals. We broke up into teams to reach out to the alumni chapter for resources or goodies. More details to come into that for the next board report. But yeah. I joined the Wellness Sexual Safety Committee, but the first meeting of the semester I couldn't attend because I had another ASI commitment that I did not want to miss. So I went to that, but I will go to the next one. Alcohol Advisory Committee, the second meeting is set for March. Lobby Corps, we just discussed about SB 9, which is raising the age extended for foster care act of 2023. The Grade Appeal Committee, I did my board report before I get an update, but I am in a panel, so that's going to be going as well. All my strategic priorities are done, and my strategic priorities for all board, most of them are all year, so I'll be done in May, June. During my office hours, I work on my board report, answered emails, posted on Instagram, and yeah, I mean, we were just getting back from break, so nothing too hectic yet. I know there's gonna be hectic days. And then for presentations, I have one that's gonna be scheduled, but I don't know the date yet. And yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Admiral? All right. So moving on to the next one, we have AZ, our Director of Business. So you can start whenever you're ready.
What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday. A couple of things to highlight. My office hours from the fall semester have changed for this semester. Spending 2 hours in the government office on Monday and then 2 hours in the OSC office in Tahoe Hall. Want to get a little bit closer to the constituents in the College of Business. Seems like a popping place for business students to gather of recent, so I've been hanging out in there a lot more. Look forward to seeing any students hopping into the office hours and things like that. My contact information is there as well. Jumping into the committee updates, I had to sadly step down as Vice Chair of Finance and Budget Committee due to some class constraints and conflicts. I was really bummed about that one, but was able to work with Drew to get appointed to ASI Scholarship Committee, so I'll be serving on that one now. That was a big update as of recent, and then as for strategic parties, the one that we've been working on recently has been the alumni, networking with the alumni event that we're planning to work with the Career Center and Alumni Center on. So we've been slowly tackling that and getting meetings on the books and moving the needle forward to eventually have that event sometime in April, which is fitting since that's Alumni Month. So that will hopefully be a really good event. Jumping into meeting events and presentations, I was able to do an 8 a.m. presentation on Monday, which is interesting, very early, but all good. It went well. A couple of other updates that maybe aren't on the board report. Yesterday was the Biz Fling, so there is business clubs tabling in the Quad in Tahoe Hall. It was really good to network with a lot of the business clubs. Some of them are coming out of like inactivity, which has been interesting. So was able to meet there's an HR club in the business college now, so they're alive and well. Was able to talk and network with them. And BGS, or Beta Gamma Sigma, an invite-only business club, is now revived. I got a free shirt, so thank you to them. And a couple other highlights. I think one of my favorite events before the semester started was the presidential roast. So I was able to come go with some board members, and that was pretty sick. Really funny, cool event. Miguel, Solomon, and I went to the plenary in San Jose, which is a big highlight. It was really fun just to hear about what goes on at CSSA and some of the issues. And big credit to Salma, she knows how to like command a meeting and stuff like that. It was cool to hear her advocate for our school as well as like the entire CSU system. So other than that, the presidential search open forum happened last Friday. Was able to be a part of that and was just an amazing experience. So just looking forward to tackling the rest of the semester and mingling with more of the business clubs and trying to get into the presentations. Scheduled one with Women in Business for next Monday, but those are all my updates. Cheers.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments for AZ? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move over to the next director, Z, who is the Director of Education. Whenever you're ready.
So hello, my constituents. As you see, office hours have been updated Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1:45 p.m. and then Thursdays from 12:45 to 3 p.m. But if those times do not fit or I'm not available, definitely feel free to get in contact with me so we can set up an appointment. So in regards to internal committees, we have the Wellness, Safety, and Sexual Assault Committee. We had our first meeting of the spring semester. We introduced ourselves to the new members, so welcome to those new members. And then definitely feel free to stop by if you definitely want to, have a voice in all these things that are up and coming. More so, I know the big one is the sexual assault. So if you have a say, if you want to definitely say something, this is definitely a safe space. So stop by. We also have the University Committee updates, more so the Parental Advisory Council pack. We met for the first time this week also. Some highlights from that is that the ASI Food Pantry might be there for a couple more months. So they're planning on making it an easier, lineup path, so there won't be a lot of students in front of the whole center, and more so goes around towards the back, so students have easier access, as well as the younger children, and teachers don't have to worry about so many students being around that area. Then we have our strategic priorities. So from the ones that I was assigned to, there are only 2 left that we were working on. It's the 1.1.1 Support Dream Students Incentive Grant and College Corp. We have tried getting more volunteer opportunities within the different ASI departments, but isn't feasible. So students can only volunteer at the food pantry as of now. And then for 3.1.2, Collaborate on a Cultural Celebration. These updates were made before Monday, so they're not all up to date, but we did manage to get, at least get the confirmation of our ballroom, as well as started working with other sponsors. So luckily we're definitely moving a lot more forward with that strategic priority. And also be on the lookout for all of our board of directors pages and executive board pages on IG, where we did announce our flyers, where we are looking for performers and or people to participate in our fashion show. There should be a video coming out soon explaining more so like what the process is to sign up and whatnot, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And then in office hours, there really hasn't been much done, just setting up for preparing for presentations, emailing, getting in contact with social deans and deans, so it's pretty dry. It's beginning of the semester, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Izzy? All right, seeing none, we'll move over to the next director. Tej, he is the director of engineering and computer science. Whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, guys. So let's jump into the office hours. So it's changed Monday and Wednesday 11 to 12 and Tuesday 3 to 5. I like to read my special note, the second paragraph. If there is any way I can help, whether it is intellectual or mentally, please get in contact with me. I recognize that there are moments where it seems like the only option is to give up. Please feel free to contact any of us. We will be happy to answer your questions and address your issues, or we will direct you to someone who can. Please take care of yourself and your mental health come first. For the internal committee, I had to change to the wellness, safety and sexual assault committee because of some conflicts, and I couldn't attend the first meeting because there was a trustee meeting that I had to attend. For the university committee in AITC, we met on the last Friday, 3rd February, and we talked about the virtual lab updates and issues on the ChatGPT. So there is also software that can track the answers that is uploaded from the ChatGPT. So I would suggest not to do that. And we have a next meeting for the Transportation Advisory Committee on the 24th February. For the strategic priority update, I almost done with all of them, just 2 left. For the Alumni Center one, we met with the Career Center yesterday and we talked about few events that we can collaborate, and hopefully there will be good opportunity with us and Alumni Association Center and Career Center to make like a big event for us. For the connection with the commuters, we start working on that, and I think legislation in the next legislation cycle will try to make it official. In the office hour, I try to update my bulletin board, meet with the ECS Joint Council officers and try to meet with the other club officers. In the meeting and events, so in the last December, I finished with the search committee called AVP of Facility Management, and we hired Felicia. She was the candidate who is more eligible for this position. And for the January and February, there was nothing to do too much, but yeah, just a start. Let's wait. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Tej? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move over to Chris. He's the Director of Health and Human Services, whenever you're ready.
Hi. Hi. Is it on? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's on. Hi, so
Listed here, my updated office hours, Wednesday 11:45 to 1:45, Friday 12 to 2 p.m. And my special note to the Hornets. So I hope everyone has had a wonderful winter break and is looking forward to the new year. In celebration of MLK Day and Black History Month, I wanted to share a special message with the Hornet family. I won't read the entire message, but I'm hoping everybody reads it. And at the end, there's a great quote from Martin Luther King from his letter from Birmingham Jail. So getting into the internal committee updates, ASI Green Team is off to a great start this spring semester. During the December meeting, Green Team discussed the CSU single-use plastic policy. We continue our discussion. Green Team feels very strongly about supporting this policy and wants to advocate on its behalf. During the January meeting, I wasn't able to attend, but after getting updated about the meeting, the Green Team discussed placement of recycling signs that were made during the fall semester, and they discussed layering of confetti and brainstormed ideas to prevent it. Anchor University Advisory Council during the December meeting, Elena Akita, not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, presented on Lead California. And then we also discussed the Homeless World Cup that's going to be happening next year, or technically this year. And we also discussed on how the Anchor University Advisory Council can be involved with the Homeless World Cup. So, strategic priority updates. I was in a hurry to finish this board report, so there's a couple different areas that you'll see. One of them is in the strategic priorities. We finished the strategic priorities that I'm involved with, and I didn't include that here. Getting in my office hours, during office hours, I planned different ASI events. I responded to student, faculty, and staff concerns, and I worked with different partners on ASI strategic priorities. There's some more errors in my meetings. In December, I did not have an orientation meeting with Emily and Lisa, nor did I have an orientation meeting with Sandra. But I did have some ASI meetings, and I met with my associate dean, Robert Brady. In January, I attended Dreamer Ally training and attended the mid-year retreat. And also went to the president's address and had a meeting with my associate dean and a grantee meeting. In February, I met with Emily Tupper and Laura Falkenstein from Student Health and Counseling to discuss on how they can be involved with the ASI strategic priority and our goal of fostering a healthy community. Another event I want to highlight was I attended a couple different meetings about post-traumatic growth event and an anti-racism event that HHS is planning this semester. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments for Chris? Oh, sorry, Rob.
Thank you. Can you speak a little more on the, hello?
Hello. Can you speak a little bit about the anti-racism event that HHS is planning?
Chris?
Yeah, I'd love to. So the event is called A Long Talk, and it's an anti-racism activation experience. The organization is called A Long Talk. It's similar to the event that we threw during the fall semester. We don't have a date currently set, but it's gonna be in early April. And the event, the format of the event is going to be a keynote speaker, and then there's going to be breakout groups and a couple different workshops involved. The CEO of A Long Talk Pamela Carter is going to be coming to present. He presented last semester and he's a great speaker. One of the goals that this organization has is to end racism in the next 10 years, which is a hefty goal, but ASI and Helping the Services want to support them in any way we can.
Okay, any other questions for Chris? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move over to the next board report. JD, the Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so this will be a little short. So welcome back. So my office hours changed. They're Monday and Tuesday. Monday 1:15 to 4 p.m. and then Tuesday from 12 to 1:15. You can reach me on Instagram or email. And during my office hours, I was able to respond to emails, set my calendar for the semester, and update my bulletin board. For internal committee updates, for the Wellness, Safety, and Sexual Assault Committee, we discuss our goals and events for the upcoming year, and we introduce ourselves to the members and our interests and why we joined the committee. Alcohol Advisory Council, we met last semester, and then we're meeting again March 2nd. The Grade Appeal Committee, I'm still waiting to hear back from them to see if they need me on a panel. Strategic party updates, majority of them are done. And then I also have a meeting on Monday in regards to doing a wellness campaign on social media takeover. So I'll get an update on that after the meeting. And then I attended some events in November. December was a little bit of a slow month because of finals. And then in January, we had a special board meeting, first day of school. And then on Monday, I was able to meet, or on February, on Monday, Veronica and I met with the deans of NSM. We were able to discuss the clothing drive, and they're super supportive of everything. So I'm super excited for that to happen. And then that's pretty much all that happened. So that concludes my board report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for JD? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to the next one. Sachi, which is the Director of Undeclared Students.
All right. Well,
There you go.
all right. Hello, constituents. I'm Sachi Barre. I'm the Director for Undeclared Students. Honestly, I feel like now I can feel that I'm back to school again because we have a formal board meeting. And listed is my office hours, Monday 1 to 3 p.m., Wednesday 11:50 to 1:50, which is kind of weird though. And there's my contact information listed, the email and Instagram. And I would like to read just one quote from my special note that if you have more than you need, simply share it with those who need it at the most. And coming over to my internal committee updates, I'm still serving on the same committees that I did last semester. We met on January 31st for Finance and Budget Committee to appoint the Vice Chair since ASI removed, and we missed it out. And Mark, who's the Director of Finance, who gave an overview about the 2023-2024 budget calendar, and we also reviewed the student employment grant application list for 2023 and 24. Coming to the University Committee updates, I'm chairing Union Law and Audit Committee, and we met on December 2nd to discuss RFP process with ASI accounting team to select new audit and accounting firm. After the presentation by ASI accounting team, we brought the summation of our RFP process to approve Clifton Larson Allen as our new auditor of record. And for the Friends of Library, I couldn't attend it on January 13th since I was working somewhere, so it was kind of schedule conflict. And updating my strategic priority, the 2.2.1, which is completed, and we're still working on the explore the opportunity to provide a matching state award, which is currently in review for scoring, and for 1.2.1 collaboration with Alumni Center Association. We discussed the speed networking event, and we had a conversation with Maria Johnson, who's an employee relations specialist with Career Center. And we're trying to figure out which event goes best for speed networking collaboration. We're gonna contact the Alumni Association for more events. And for the all board priorities, I attended the Green and Gold series for the first time, and it was really amazing. And we had a chance to meet Madam Secretary Weber, and we had a chance to click the photo with her as well. And for 3.2.2, support the Office of Governmental Affairs OGA with active participation. So me and Risha also joined for an hour to do tabling for voter registration outside of the boardroom, just before the Green and Gold series. And coming to the office hours, we worked on search committee interviews for the position of Director of Graduate Studies. Also worked on my board report and answered any emails or made phone calls. Coming to my meeting, events, and presentation, I didn't do much in the month of December since I was having really hectic schedule for my finals. But me and Salma did volunteer at the ASI Food Pantry, which consists a lot of hard work and to go back and forth to stock everything, but it was fun too. And in the month of January 23, we had a new student orientation tabling, and then amazing media retreat, and then, oh my God, the President's Spring 2023 address, which is roasting more. So that was fun too. And February 23, we also conduct the graduate director search committee interviews, and then trustee meeting with DRO, like we focused on what we want in the all next president, and yeah, the Green and Gold series as well. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Sachi? Okay. Seeing none, so we're going to move over to the next one. My board report, Director of Social Sciences and Interdisciplinary Studies. So just to begin, my office hours haven't changed. They're still the same, Monday and Wednesday, 11:30 to 1:30. And then going into my internal committees, the first one, Student Academic Senate. We had our first meeting of the semester, and we discussed some of the updates that we had from our strategic priorities that we created last semester. And I gave some of the updates that we had from the Academic Policies Committee. And then we also talked about chess. And that meeting was a little bit short because we all went to the presidential search open forum right after that. And then going into Green Team, my second internal committee, we had our first meeting as well, and we just started with some introductions, and then we discussed some of the updates that they worked on last semester, and then we also reflected on a lot of the work that was done so far. We also talked about the Glitter is Litter flyers that they also completed last semester, and we discussed the use of plastic displays, or like the displays over the trash bins in the University Union that they had started working on last semester, and the possibility of getting it kind of expanded to other like buildings on campus as well. And then going into university committees, for Academic Policies Committee, I presented some of the revisions to the grading policy and the excused absence policy from the Student Academic Senate. And we also applied those revisions to the policies, and we're still revising the policies this semester to finalize them and then eventually submit them to the Faculty Senate for approval. For the Committee on Diversity and Equity, we did have our first meeting this semester, but I wasn't able to go due to another meeting that I had, but I will go to the second one. For the strategic priority updates, the first one, 1.1.2, the professional clothing drive, we basically decided that we're going to have the colleges house the different donation boxes in their offices, and then we're going to ask administration to help with maybe some of the hangers. So it's kind of, we're working with other partners, campus partners, to make that happen, and we also are exploring the possibility of doing it alongside the pop-up food pantries, or the food pantry pop-ups that we have on campus. And then the other big one is the cultural celebration. So that one has been moving along. We also reached out to SMUD to get some more funding from there if possible. But the Multicultural Center has been working really closely with us. They have agreed to, take charge on some of the other aspects of the celebration. And we have like regular meetings with them and other campus partners to have it going along. But right now, the main thing is just trying to get students signed up for the fashion show and for the performances. And then going into meetings and presentations, most of the meetings have been because of, for the cultural celebration. So also, the university president's address, the mid-year retreat. We had a wellness Wednesday with the HHS Joint Council, and all the other events are out there. But yeah, that's it. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move over to announcements. Are there any announcements? Jerusha.
I just wanted to let you know that current balance left in Strategy Priority Funding after the approved legislations today is $3,375. If you reached out to me and you said that you were going to use the priority fundings, next legislation cycle would be an amazing time for you to take the money out. As for my calculations, we are still supposed to have $2,075 left even after all the money that you requested through. So please, if you want to use the priority monies, please come to me so we can make sure that we exhaust the fundings before the semester ends. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Sandra?
It's elections time, so asking all board members to repost our collateral, and I'm holding it, so hopefully all of you are reposting on your social media and encouraging people in your college to consider running for office. We have multiple information sessions that started this week for folks who just want to learn more, and our elections officer, Tyler, will be heading a couple more of those sessions, and I'll be running my How to Run for Office workshop this Friday. We have a fantastic panelist from hopefully both former ASI presidents will be here to share their secrets. Samantha, Lizalda, and Noah Marty are scheduled to come and share elections, how they got elected multiple times. So super excited, but for the How to Run, we do ask for pre-registration so that we can know how many sandwiches and food to order. Again, deadline for running for office is March 10th, and then we kick off election seasons with mandatory workshops, the ethics workshop, and campaigning. So always encourage. I really am looking at folks, business college, arts and letters, like the colleges, the grad students, where we typically have difficulty recruiting candidates, to really spread the word. And actually, if you see any student that you think would be good, just telling them, hey, have you considered? There's a workshop you can attend, and they don't have to commit to attend to the workshop. It can be part fun, free food, information, no pressure, just for them to explore the wonders of serving on the board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other announcements? Adderall?
I'm gonna send a flyer to all of y'all on Instagram to share, but JCPenney is doing their annual up to 50% professional clothing wear. I got an email from the Career Center, that's how I found out. I haven't checked my ASI email, but so Lisa also sent it too, so you should all have it in your mailbox. So if you are looking for professional clothing, I know that was one of our strategic priorities. Y'all can share that with your constituents so they can go and shopping, who doesn't love shopping. And then if your constituents also have any alumni, you don't have to be an alumni from Sac State, any alumni, as long as they show a transcript or a copy of their diplomas, they will get up to 30% off. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay, thank you. Lexa?
So as mentioned earlier, the Raising Awareness Starts Now event will be happening February 15th at 11 a.m. In the third floor in the Summit Room, so definitely come by. And then that following day, we will have our committee meeting where we'll be debriefing what happened at the event. And I also encourage you all to promote the College Corps second cohort. Since they are wanting to recruit more students for their second cohort, so I'll be sharing a flyer. I'll be sharing both flyers so that you can all share with our constituents so that they can definitely attend the event and also be able to apply for these opportunities.
Okay, Chris?
In celebration of Valentine's Day, the Honors Program is selling Valentine's Day grams. I don't have the contact information for the Honors Club president, but if you're interested, reach out to me.
Okay, Tash?
There is an engineering week from 20 February to 24 February, and they have like an event on every day. Donut with the dean, tea with the teacher, ECS barbecue, introduce a woman to engineering, and career fair. And there is also tabling opportunity for ASI on 22nd February, 11:30 to 1:30. So if you want to, let me know. You will get a free barbecue.
Okay, AZ?
Speaking of Valentine's Day, on Valentine's Day from 11 to 3 p.m. in the Union, the Hive Student Entrepreneurship Club is running Stinger Expo. So there's going to be 40 student vendors selling goods like thrifted clothing, art, crocheted hats and beanies. So if you're free during that time, swing by the Union, Ballroom 1 and 2, and that'll be running. So hope to see you there.
Okay, any other announcements? Miguel?
Not as exciting, but City Ambassadors is happening tomorrow in the Capitol Room from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then I sent you all, everyone here, a lovely CSSA plenary report. So I hope you all are looking forward to reading how much fun we've had over the weekend of CSSA. But everything that happened will be highlighted there. Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements? Laura?
That is if nobody has announcements. Not up to me, it's up to my vice chair, but just saying.
So, we need an urgent board member to come table on Friday, February 10th. We only need you all for an hour. There's nobody. To those who have replied or have communicated with us why you can't attend, thank you. If you haven't, we have asked for you all to communicate with us on why you can't, because we all need to row this boat. We all need to put our foot forward. So I am asking for a board member for Friday, February 10th, that's this Friday, from 11 a.m. to noon. I'm not gonna have anybody answer right now. I'll let you all look at your schedule, but please consider we need one board member just for an hour this Friday. This counts. I'll count this as an event, and you guys are supposed to be tabling anyway. So please just open up your, don't open up your schedule, but if you have room in your schedule, please consider going and helping us out. With that being said, I sent an email out. We also need board members to serve on the Student Marketing and Outreach and Social Justice and Equity Council. I sent you all the membership. I'll send you all the membership per our op rules. Who wants to step up, or what happens in the case that we can't fill something. If you have any questions, please let me know. We meet every other Monday. We have our next meeting on the 13th from, hold on a minute. I'm trying to picture what I have at the top of my desk. From 3 to 4, and then from 4 to 5. So those are those meeting times. One of them needs to be a non-exec member. So as much as our execs have been very responsive, we cannot serve on that. It has to be one of the college directors. Then for Social Justice and Equity Council, just please refer to my email. And, just reiterating what Dervisha said, make sure you contact her for strategic priority money. It looks like we're a little bit low, but we're still good. But if there's any last minute events, just try to reach out to her, have a conversation with her, see what's going on, because it's gonna be a bummer if there's no strategic priority money and priorities have not been met, because now we have to go find that funding elsewhere, and that's a hassle. So please talk to Dervisha, and that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any, Sama?
A few things. So the first one is we have concluded our search committee for our graduate director position, and so that has just been closed, and you'll be seeing an email from me later today with all of the information there. So just giving an update that we should have someone appointed and ready to go in the next couple of weeks. Oh, next week. Sorry, my apologies. Next week. And then there is an executive committee meeting after this board meeting and every formal board meeting that follows. Also, the chancellor search is, the last open forum is tomorrow from 12 to 2 p.m. at CSU San Francisco, but there is an online option on the Cal State EDU website if you just type in chancellor search. Or you can go in person. San Francisco is not that far. Just putting it out there for you all. And take care of yourselves, please.
Okay, thank you. Any other last minute announcements? Okay, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned at 3:21.